Weather predictions were pretty accurate. A tropical depression was coming right on cue. Skies were not looking very friendly this afternoon. We departed a couple of hours late, and this did not feel so good. I opted to follow the coast of Sant'Antao by motor and crossing the canal de Sao Vicente further up the coast. This way, you take on less of the oncoming short waves. I've done this many times and I know the drill, and I have a gentle passenger aboard. The poor girl is seasick. No need to torture her anymore. It's very difficult to sail up the canal. I say up because you are straight into the wind and into the current, and of course, the waves. After much experience and local know-how, this is the best way to get back to Mindelo in these wind conditions. After about 4 hours of motoring upstream, it was time to hoist the sails for the crossing. 3 reefs and we're off. There was about 20 knots of wind on the beam. Galopan was doing great at about 6 knots speed. But I was anticipating more wind and rain, perhaps a squall. It started raining but was intermittent. The wind was constant, and I was not only trying to beat the storm, but also nightfall. In the end, we did beat the storm, but not the night. We sailed into Mindelo Bay in total darkness, but I know my way around the bay by now and easily anchored safely to the joy of my pretty passenger.
Poor Wendy. Oh, Wendy. She suffered on the trip back. Comment ça va, Voyage? She was sick. She thought she almost wanted to die. Last night, me and Wendy got in just before the rain. We anchored, let's say 10 minutes, 20 minutes just before it started pouring rain like this. And man, we're really lucky. It was great, it was a great sail. Poor girl was seasick, I feel bad, but it's alright. She was happy to be back on land. And then Wendy and Marisa had to come by ferry. But now it's raining again, man. It's crazy downpours here. Huge floodings in the island of Santiago and Praia. And here it's just raining and the island is turning green. It's absolutely spectacular. All the islands are just like flourishing. Water tanks are getting filled again. Nice. Oh no! Shit. Idiot. Look at what I did. Forgot to close the window. Ah, man. Time to clean the sheets. Well, it's really cool to be back here. A little community, you know, we make of sailing friends and so forth. David just came by and offered me some fish that they caught on the west bank of Sant'Antao Island. They said the fishing there was incredible. They caught like a 20 kilo tuna, another 12 kilo tuna, and they had too much fish, and they gave a bunch of the people of Tarrafal. These guys are cool. I like David and Lucas, you know, and they both sailed their boats single-handedly Hola, Carla. Tudo direito?
From Tarrafal and to Tarrafal, so, you know, they are single-handed sailors also.
Lloro con mi soledad, tan fuerte que fuimos más que amigos, baby.
The rain stopped, but then picked up again. And this was a great opportunity to gather this wonderful resource. I had already filled both of my water tanks, each 150 liters. And now I was filling my jerry cans, 8 of them with a capacity of about 25 liters. In total, I gathered over 500 liters of fresh rainwater.
Para no acordarme de nada, pero después regresa más fuerte al verte. Estoy cansada la vida.
Then I went into town to see just how the storm was affecting the city. And it was a sight to see. People were about the streets, the rain pouring upon them. It was an event, something to enjoy.
El problema es peor, mucho siento por vos, pero se me ve poco. Yeah. Dime qué vamos a hacer, si cuando tomo todo lo malo se va. Y al amanecer, ya me doy cuenta que no se olvida nada. Dime qué vamos a hacer, si cuando tomo todo lo malo se va. Y al amanecer, ya me doy cuenta que no se olvida nada. Solo un traguito, nada más. Que sobria ya no puedo ni verte, ya, para no acordarme de nada, pero después regresa más fuerte al verte. Tal vez lo que pasará, que los recuerdos me matarán, antes que los tragos hagan su trabajo. Sentirme en las nubes estando bien bajo, no afrontando nada y buscando atajos. Es que el bar es mi mejor amigo y la misma vez mi enemigo, pero solo sé que sigo. Dime qué vamos a hacer, si cuando tomo todo lo malo se va. Y al amanecer, ya me doy cuenta que no se olvida nada. Dime qué vamos a hacer, si cuando tomo todo lo malo se va. Y al amanecer, ya me doy cuenta que...
The people of Mindelo were literally dancing in the streets. I love them, man. I love the attitude of my Mindelese friends.
After the storm. Wow, look at that, it's beautiful. And everything's gonna be looking green, man. This place apparently hasn't seen this much rain since about 10 years. 10 years since it's been so much rain. Wow. Can't really see it now, but across the way is Sao, which is usually like a burnt piece of rock. It's all green. And here, this is called Mount Verde, Green Mountain, and it is green. Mother Nature sure is amazing, man. It's beautiful.
Well, here we are stuck in Mindelo, and as I've said many times before, I don't mind. I went out for a few drinks with my friend Rokas, a beat maker in Mauricia. She and I had bumped into him earlier while bar hopping in Bella Vista. Meanwhile, my neighbor David spent some of the hot nights under the stars, a little bit different than us. And then I became Lord of the Flies.
So here during the summer in Cape Verde is a kind of a bit of a phenomena. There's lots of flies, and it usually happens when there's not so much wind. and it's kind of a battle. So the way I've resolved this is I have screens here on this porthole and in my V-berth porthole. So those keep the flies out from there. And then I had this made in the Canaries, which is great. But then there's always a few that get in. So what's the solution to that? Well, just plain old fly paper. And this is what happens after a few days. And now I think it's about time to close the chapter on this story of being a liveaboard.
The weather being much calmer late summer and early fall, I decided to sail to Sant'Antao with a couple of friends, maybe circumnavigate the island. But I needed something that gave me some problems on my last trip sailing. And this I would find here, on my friend Tito's boat.
Well, Tito's autopilot ST 6002 looks exactly the same as mine. We're going to try it out on my boat to go for our sail around Sant'Antao Island. See what happens. I'm just borrowing it, by the way.
Thanks, Tito. I'll return it. But first, I'll make good use of it.